All right, we are looking at lesson 59 today. We're going to look at advanced log problems. And then we're going to look at the color of the White House. That's the name of it. It's not dealing with the house at all. So that's just how they call it. You've actually already done problems like this. I don't know why they have a lesson on them, since you've been doing them like for the past month and a half, it seems like. But we're going to go over them anyway. If you have a log on one side and then a number on the other, you're going to write it as an exponential. You're going to use the definition of logs to change it into an exponential. Things that you've already done, right? Yeah. Right. So I don't understand why the lesson is now. Yeah. So what would you do for this question? You make it like that. And so then what would you do? Does that make sense? 11 plus 5, is that positive? So then that's our right answer. Any questions here? Okay. Looking at another example. What would we do for this one? Move that one, right? What are we going to do on the right side? Y 16 over 2. There's the minus on there. Does that make sense? So then what would you do? The logs would go away. And then what? Make sense? Any questions on those? Okay. You think you can do them by yourself? Probably. Again, I don't know why they put this lesson at the end. Next year I need to remember to do it earlier. Like just skip to this lesson. Do you agree? You have to move the 2 before you combine these. Does that make sense? Because it's only an exponent on this log, not on both of them. Right? with me still? So you get 3 and 6 for your answer. Do both of those work? Yes. So both of them are answers. Any questions on? Yeah, if it was like a 3 there, x minus 3, 3 minus 3 is 0, and that doesn't work. It has to be greater than 0.
So where do you put
Here and here, just like log of whatever, has to be a positive number, but it can't be 0. Does that make sense? Okay, these are the other types of problems we're looking at. Color White House is white. What's the color of the red house? Red. What's the color of the black house? It tells you the answer in the question, or in what it's asking you, right? Yeah. So these are they're weird if you look at them, but the answer is actually like usually in the problem. This is an example. They will usually just say 5 and then log base 5 of 14 is all in the exponent. And what does it equal? The way that the book says to read that, 5 raised to the power that 5 must be raised to in order to get 14. Like that's how you read it. 5 raised to the power that 5 must be raised to in order to get 14. What happens here, this 5 and log base 5 cancel out. And what are you left with? 14. Does that make sense? So your answer is 14. That's it. No, 14 to the 5th isn't, but it's 5 raised to log base 5 of 14. So we got another one. Log base e is the same thing as ln, right? But we're going to use log base e on this problem. They're saying log base e of e to the 6 is 6. Well, if we let this be an x to start with, how would you rewrite this? So this 6 equals e to the x. What does your x have to be? A 6. If your base and that number are the same, whatever the exponent is what it'll equal. These are two different types of problems. Like one is where log base e of e to the 6, and then this one is 5 raised to the log. Like for this one, it's like the top example. (42) raised to log base 42 of 5. What would that equal? 5. The 42 and the log 42 cancel out, and you're left with 5. For this one, it's a little bit different. They won't usually be quite this easy. They'll usually be something like this where you have to manipulate it just a little bit. This was 42 and base 42, but this is 9 and base 3. Those aren't the same, right? But is there a way to make them look similar? Instead of 9, we can say 3 squared, and then the other exponent is log base 3 of 5. Does that make sense? Now what do we do to the 2? Yeah, move it to the 5. Now, are these two the same? So they cancel out, and what are you left with? 5 squared, which is 25. Does that make sense? Any questions there? Okay. Here's another one.
That's like to the power, that's not written as log.
Right. The 4 log base 10 of the square root of 3 is all in the exponent. Smartboard is really frustrating in that it's very limited in how you can write stuff in math. It's not like Word where you have like a formula builder. I mean an equation builder. Scott, do you need a note? What? Yes? Okay. So what do we have to do first on this problem? We have to do what? Yeah, move this 4 and put it where? The exponent of the square root of 3. Now do the 10 and the log base 10 cancel? And what is the square root of 3 to the 4th? It is 9. The square root of 3 to the 4th, 3 to the 4th is 81. So the square root of 9, the square root of 81 is 9. Any questions there? Okay, the last one. You would make the 25 5 squared. So what does it have to be? 2. So log 5 and the 5 cancel out. Y'all see how those work? So those are the White House is white type of problems. The reason it's named that, it gives you the answer in the question. Any questions on logs?